What's up, guys? From BC coming at you with a live stream show. Gonna have a hot one today. Some really interesting stuff going on today in the crypto world. Crypto is crashing. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what that means. Lots of stuff to talk about in that range. And I got a whole bunch of algo news, and I got some SUI Network news too. So we got some really interesting stuff going on today. The crypto news is especially interesting. Here, I'm gonna move this a little closer. Because I think it's well, we'll take a look at why I'm sharing it. So I know there's already been some reaction to my thumbnail. Let's see who we got in the chat here today. Ski Mask Blaze says I sold at all-time high. For what? Not algo. We didn't have any alts, unless you're talking about last cycle. JK says it's crashing right now. It certainly is. That's why we're doing the stream. But okay. This is the thing I want. So Silver something says, "Oh my God, it's over." LMAO. Oh, stop. Well, that's the point. So a lot of people assume because I put that in the title that's what I'm saying. That's actually what I plan to react. That sentiment is what I plan to react to today. Because, it's possible. We'll see. And then Silver also says this crash is the fear that we are about to start a world war when Iran attacks Israel. Yeah, well, that's definitely a thing. We can look at stocks too. Also, like there tends to be kind of a little crash before the big bull starts, right around the halvening. We'll take a look at that. So, yeah, we're gonna get into all of this today. Here we go. This is what Yancey says. That's what I'm saying. Pre-halving dip. Now, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And welcome to the show, Yancey. Welcome everybody, by the way. Silver something, JK, Ski Mask, all you guys who left comments, welcome. We got the chats are rolling in. We got Shihan Alpa Aplanelp. Sorry, I'm really butchering that. It says SEC faults. No, I don't think so. No, I mean they've been going after everything. We've had SEC going after crypto for what? Well, really, really actively for the last year at least, if not more. So I don't think that has to do with it. By the way, I put my old lens back on. It's a f4 versus 2.8. Still kind of getting that flux in and out. I don't know why it's refocusing like that. But not as bad. When it does, it's not as bad as because it doesn't focus on the background like the other one does. It'll just put me slightly out of focus. So I really want to get to the show, but I'm getting a lot of chats, so I might as well. Bitcoin 2550K. I don't know. We'll see. Cuckoo. Hold on a second. Kukuruku says not over for those who sold and rebuy. Not me. LOL. Yeah, well, I didn't do that with algo, but I did that with a lot of other stuff. We'll talk about that. Shihan's got, oops. God, I hate this. I'm sorry. I got to get a new mouse. I bet this is a conspiracy to shake out paper hands. Nah, this stuff just happens. Not everything's a conspiracy. And I usually don't like, well, who would be doing it, right? I mean, Ski Mask says a super cycle is a myth. I don't know what that means. You mean the halving cycles? Those are, I mean, they're not a myth. We keep having them. All right. Well, before we get all the news, why don't we just look at the charts? We'll just get right into it because there's some interesting stuff going on, and we're going to react to. Well, let's just look at the charts first. Then we can go back and kind of look at some of this narrative around the bull run and whether it's over or not. All right, here we go. This is today's this is the crypto prices as we record. As soon as, oh my God, I hate this. Dude, Apple makes such terrible mouses. It worked great, but I didn't have you got it. Here we go. Apple's mouses suck. Their mice suck. Bitcoin down to 66. It's not a giant drop. It's for Bitcoin, but everything else has kind of dropped a little more. We'll look at that. Ethereum down about 4%. Let's look at this really down. Solana at 140. That's wild. I bought back in at 175 thinking that'd be a good floor, and then I bought some more at 150, so I'm still underwater on some of the rebuys I made on Solana. I'm actually no longer in moonbag territory with Solana. Maybe that was stupid. I don't know. We'll take a look at that. Oh yeah, interesting stuff with Solana too, because people are like, there's this weird gatekeeping thing now in Algorand where like people are like, well, you can't talk about the flaws of other chains because it's a flawed adoption strategy. And like first off, my goal is not necessarily adoption. That may be the result of me talking about this, but like my goal isn't adoption. My goal is to inform you and give my honest assessment of this stuff. And I just can't understand why Solana enjoys the popularity it still has with all the flaws on it. The fact that there's like 75% of the transactions fail. I mean, it just shouldn't look like that. I'm sorry. You can't make excuses for it. It should not look like that. And not to mention all the BS around when it was launched. They lied about the circulating supply or the max supply, I should say. It's actually double what they initially said. I mean, just all kinds of the ties to FTX. Yeah, but everything is really down in the double digits on the week. Other than Toncoin, I don't know what the deal is with Toncoin. It's up 15%, fallen a little in the last hour, but yeah, for some reason that one's kind of bucking the trend. I might have to look at that because when these coins just buck the trend, it's really interesting to me. Which Toncoin overtook Cardano. That was a big news item because Cardano had been number 9, now it's number 10. And Shiba Inu has been working its way up, so who knows? Maybe old Shib will knock off Cardano yet, and Cardano will be out of the top 10. That'd be wild. Let's see, Chainlink. Yeah, just everything's down in the double digits, around anywhere between 15, for the most part, between 15 and 30%. Yeah, look at near at 5. I sold off near at like what 8 something. I think my next sell order was at $10. Uniswap took even a bigger drop because I think they got some SEC scrutiny right now. Filecoin at 30%. Yeah, my Cosmos is up at like $11-12 as I recall. Now it's down to $8. Hedera back to 8 cents, so not much over that. My average buy is around 6 cents. I think its bottom was like 4 or 5 maybe, but my average buy is around 6. So, and I sold off a double, so around 12 cents. And I think I had another sell order at 15 cents. It's wild. Arbitrum. Yeah, otherwise there's not too much. There just aren't a lot of surprises. Other than Toncoin, nothing's really bucking the trend from what I can see. There's Algorand at number 58. So we're still staying in the top 60. Algorand was, and then SUI. Yeah, SUI I just bought at $1.09, so I'm actually up a little. That's nice. It's actually popped up in the last 24 hours. I like SUI. I think it's a good. We're gonna look at some SUI stuff today because I think there's some interesting news around it, and there's some stuff I really like that they do. Let's see. I kind of made fun of how Floki had, for a little bit there, Algorand and Floki were like neck and neck in terms of market cap. Gal has really worked its way up. It was almost out of the top 100. Now it's back up to 64. Of course, it's dropping along with everything else. And if you've watched the channel for a long time, you know how I feel about Gala, which is not very well. I mean, just as a company, they're just a disaster, And then, of course, this idiotic stuff I have to get every time their coin goes up. So, aged well, huh? Yeah, the problem's still there. Just because the coin goes up a little bit in value, because all the other cryptocurrencies are going up in value, doesn't mean the project's not screwed. It is royally screwed. It's just one big conflict. I mean, there's lawsuits galore. People they break all kinds of promises. And you should look at Old Man Smithers videos on Gala. I'm waiting for the next one to come out because he's really done a good job on them. And he was like an early adopter. And if you were an early adopter and you bought nodes, you just got royally hosed. I got hosed on the NFT that I bought. As far as I know, it's still not earning. It wouldn't be earning if I was playing the game. And it kind of doesn't matter if you do anyway, because you can't. It's not like I can't get any Gala I have on there. I can't get off because it just decided to change the transfer. All of a sudden, my transfer code doesn't work. I have it written down, so I know it's accurate. What a bunch of garbage. Yeah, Mina was one of my favorites too. That was up. What was it? I was waiting for like $1.75 in this one to take some more profit. Now it's down to 77. Can't remember if I bought those today or not. Let's switch over to Vestige here. Let's kind of look at what this chart actually looks like. Just give me a second here. Yeah, so here's Vestige. Okay, Algorand down to 17, under 18 cents. We're at 17. Look at that candle. That hurts, man. That really hurts. Yeah, it's frustrating because my DeFi or my DeFi play was usually I like to keep that in stable coins because then you don't have to worry about impermanent loss. You can't really get impermanent loss on stable coins unless someone knows something I don't. But because the price is not going to fluctuate, what will happen, what we found out from the DeFi experiment is that if you can have two coins and we can be earning like 200% on this pair. But the problem is the coin can drop in value such that no matter how much you made, you're still way underwater. I kind of figured this out way back in the Yieldly days. I started noticing, I'm like, wait a minute, I think I ended up with less than I started, even though I'm getting like 200% returns. This is wild. And then I did the experiment and discovered, yep, that's pretty much how it works. Because I was continually putting in whatever rewards I earned, but it just kept dropping and dropping. The only thing I could think of is if you took the profit and kept it in stables, it'd be interesting to see what that does because you wouldn't be exposed to the price drop, but you still would kind of. So I don't know. It's confusing. It's hard to say without actually doing the experiment, but I think you still would. We can look at other algo. And this gets confusing because I really want to see the 7-day, but the 7-day, I mean, you can see how much the prices drop, so it makes sense. But I would like to see this percentage. I still don't get why they haven't added this. They have a 1 hour and a 24-hour, and they don't have a 7-day. I don't understand it. Just 7 days like a really valuable metric, and you can see whether it went up or down, and you can kind of guesstimate. You also pump an Opulus, even though they pretty much abandoned Algorand. I mean, they're the stuff that's there is going to stay, my understanding, but they're not doing anything new. As Polkadot Gold has worked its way up into the number 3. By the way, these are ranked on here they're not ranked by market cap. They're ranked by TVL, stable TVL, in fact. So that means they're getting used. So the Opulus coin is still getting used, but Chips remains number 1. I know I get people asking me to do chip stuff all the time, and I'm like, I have no interest in gambling. It's kind of cool that you can play the house on it, so you could actually, you can actually play the house and earn from that side, and I think that's kind of cool. But I'm not a big fan of stuff like gambling. I mean, you could argue that some people would argue that crypto is gambling, but actual gambling, I'm just not into. Agora is kind of a cool project. Look at Nico. Look how far Nico has gone. So I haven't really said this publicly because Nico is the ASA of the Realms project, and that's RXEALMS. It's a metaverse that's being built on Algorand. Its website right now just has a coming soon, kind of a cool little animation thing, but it's pretty much a coming soon, and that's all that's on there, which is sort of funny because I've seen people talk about their communication and I don't really see it. So I want to bring this up because, and I will bring it up. I will absolutely mention it anytime I do any content on them. But they gave me a pretty substantial amount of Nico, and I had no idea it was going to be that much. Um, in fact, it makes me uncomfortable doing any content on them, basically, really, because it was a surprising amount, and I thought it was going to be like a little bit, and I was like, yeah, fine, whatever, send it to me, and then I'm like, oh, geez, and I made a deal that I wouldn't sell it for a year, so whatever. But that's going to make it hard for me to do content. I think if they were hoping to entice me to do content, that had the opposite impact because now I'm super uncomfortable to do content because they sent me that Nico. Maybe I'll like give it away or something. We'll see. And yeah, Coop is like, so Coop used to be like this top Algorand ASA, and now it's really down. And it looks like Coop Daniels started RWA, real world assets, or it's like some really messed up weird name, I think. But RWA is like what is that one doing? Just like the other one, he's just kind of giving it all away. Oh yeah, red wine hooker blow. Red wine. Can you tell me the whole thing here? Oh yeah, red wine hooker blow gold oil Inu. And that looks like a pretty common launch curve for ASAs. You know, they shoot up, or actually it was worth more. It dropped. Actually, usually, in fact, what I would say is usually there's kind of like this like short curve up and then a big crash, and then they kind of like slowly pull back up a little bit. This one just kind of like crashed, pulled back up a little bit, and then crashed some more. So kind of close to that though. It only came out on April 3rd, so earlier this month. I believe it's April already. When you get older, time really flies. It's crazy. All right. Well, I guess that's enough of that. Oh wait, I hate this thing. Probably got some people talking now. Oh my god, I hate this thing so much. All right, I'm ordering a new mouse. I'm ordering a new mouse because I hate Apple's. Apple, you make crappy products. And you guys, oh, I can scroll. Okay, cool. Let's see. We're gonna do take some chats here, some comments. Oh, this is a response to like Bitcoin pumping to over 100K super cycle going off the graph. I don't think 100K is that reasonable. We already saw 70K. That's like not a huge gain from from the last all-time high. That's only like a 30% gain. That's really not that out of the whack. Kyle, welcome to the stream. Well, not welcome to the stream. He said, I sold 8K of algo for render a day before this dump. I never get that lucky. Probably gonna talk about lane changing. I think I've talked about that before. You got to be, I mean, it's fine. You know, you can do it, but a lot of times you just end up. You know, trading one dump for another. Cafe Solo says, check the Bollinger Bands on the monthly for algo. Most squeezed ever. Forget the noise. We're gonna have a massive break to the upside. Yeah, we'll cover that. Edward Go Martin says, bought algo at 16 cents, sold at 26. Can't believe it's 17 cents. Yeah. Yeah, the thing to keep in mind now, if you bought in at 8, 9, 10 cents where it was, I mean, you're still sitting pretty good, especially if you took some profit. Ski Blaze says, Solana has some big backing. I'll buy it $60, $80. Dollars. I had a friend that used to say that all the time. Yeah, I mean, people just like, you know, the thing is, so I always have to separate this for people. When I talk about something like Solana having really bad mechanics, it doesn't mean that I don't think it's going to go up in price. In fact, that's sort of like you have to kind of separate what makes sense from a rational point of view and then how things actually work in the crypto market, which I would say is highly irrational. Crypto is like one of the most irrational markets I've ever seen. It seems to be, you can, yeah, well, here, like Sheehan says, Solana is the worst L1. It is. I don't see either, and I don't see how people want to, yeah, me either. But they don't. So, you know, you have to deal with reality, which means you can complain about people not being you can complain about people not being rational, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. They're gonna be irrational. They're gonna be irrational. Bit of everything says, "Come on, dude. Is there any need for the clickbait? All these baits do scare off newbies to the space. This dump is healthy for the bull run." Well, I don't know if you saw me at the beginning of the stream. I kind of addressed this, and we're about to get into it, so we'll talk about it anyway. But I'm responding to a sentiment that I'm seeing online, which will bring people in, and now we can explain it. I don't think anybody new is going, I should get into crypto. Let's look at this random YouTuber with 4,000 followers. Oh, wait, he says there's a dump. Bye. Hold on, I gotta bring the dog in. 1 second. Check out my guitars. Hi, puppy. Abby. Oh, hello. Sorry, you can play. You can play. Go ahead. Yeah, my dog's actually playing with the neighbors, so it's fine. Okay, where were we? Cavill Venture says, are you still targeting $2 plus algo for the psycho? That's what I'm thinking. You know, if this is all contingent on like everything going the way you would expect. You know, if the cycle happens the way everyone's expecting, then yeah, I'm thinking $2 to $3 is my range, and I'll be pleasantly surprised for it to be more. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to keep up with these. Robert Lellis says Gala is garbage. I happen to agree. I'm not making Gala videos anymore, but I'm not fans of. Okay, answered that already. Kyle says he thinks Algorand can do $3. I mean, I hope so, right? Because I mean, I'm trying to think of the actual high. Because a lot of people cite like this really high $2 range as the high, and it might have like briefly touched it, but I don't really consider that the high. I consider a high like, you know, where did it sustain for like a reasonable amount of time? Bit of everything going. 750. If that's the Algorand price, I kind of doubt it. Ski Man says team up with Piano Matty B and make a crypto band. Yeah, maybe. BC and the Deciphers. How about that? I like it. Sheehan asks what guitars I have. Yeah, so you can't see them really well. The one under the red NFT, the one that's not above your comment on screen right now, that's a Japanese Epiphone Les Paul. So it's not a Gibson, it's a Epiphone. Or is it Korean? It's either Korean or Japanese, actually. I'm not sure. And then on the other side is a Fender Telecaster, American made in Corona, California. Bought it, and I bought it during Corona. And you know, I hated it at first because I never in my life had a brand new guitar, and I didn't realize there's a ton of like setup you have to do with them. but you actually have, there's like a bunch of stuff. Like I had to, the neck was pulled way forward, and I had to, sometime I'll play, not today. I had to take the an Allen wrench and like do like a quarter turn tightening every day for like a week and a half, because the action was way too high, and then it came down. Gosh, there was some other stuff I did, and then some of it was just dialing it in and then getting a good amp too. I have a uh, hold on, a Black Star, yeah, Black Star tube amp. Here you can see the. I'll get out of the way. There you can see the guitars and the Black Star. That's a glass slide on top and a battery. I really like that amp. But you guys came here for crypto, not guitars. I do love them. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, so everyone, so some of you were mad about the thumbnail. I get it. I didn't. It is what it is. I'm gonna keep doing what I do. But this is why. This is where it comes from, okay? Because this sentiment is going around, and I think we need to address it. So this comes from Jorge. He says, well, guys, looks like we got effed by a fake bull run again. All my positions have been liquidated, moved into gold bullion. Good luck to the rest of you dreamers, but it's over. So again, and I don't know if he's kidding, but this happens every time. This happens every time there's a pullback, and I think he's probably kidding, but it's a real sentiment out there because people get like freaked out when there's a huge drop like this, and I get it. We're going to address why I don't think that we're still before the halving. So let's take a look at. So this is from BitBoy Crypto. I'm sure that's going to get some comments. So Ben said pretty. Oh, no, she actually. Hold on one second. Okay. Let me just make sure that's okay. So this is pretty clear. Bitcoin was going to make a big move today. Went the other way than I thought. That's the game. Win some, lose some, but overall, Bitcoin is still going to 100K most likely this year. I agree with them. Now, remember, here's some reason why people don't have faith right now, right? Because people like BitBoy were saying that Bitcoin was going to go to 100K the last cycle. He seems like he's hedging a little more here, which is what I think you should do, because I don't think you know for certain. Last time he would state this like with the utmost certainty. In fact, I think I remember him screaming at some people that doubted him that it might go to 100K, and he was, frankly, it didn't. It didn't go to 100K. It topped out at what, 68, which now we've got all-time high Bitcoins. Yeah, maybe it won't make it to 100K because the cycle is sort of shortening, which we're going to look at. Let's look at that right now. All right, let's look at this one. This is the so this is what we've had before, right? You notice the last run was way shorter than we thought was going to happen. So there is some, and they're changing, right? You can see from the boxes. First off, we had a really, you can tell this hasn't been updated in a while, but we had a really long. What day is this supposed to be? Does it tell us? Not really. I wish it did. Wait, what happens if I? Okay, nothing happens. Yeah, we didn't quite have this. Now, typically in the halving, I think that's what this green line is, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Usually what happens is we have a mini bull followed by the big bull. It's changed a little bit. It's been a little different, but what we're in now should be the mini bull, and then what we should be getting is a huge run up, a run up after that. Look what we had here. I mean, before this bull run, we had a big crash, right? We had not so big of a one here. We've had some little ones here. So I guess the point is, and you could say like, we kind of came up here. I guess my point is there's usually fluctuation before, a pretty significant fluctuation before. I wish this one went all the way out, unfortunately. We can probably look at the Bitcoin. Give me 1 second here. I'm just loading up this other chart really quick. Drink some water while it's loading. So here's this big, we can go, maybe trading view would be a better view here. This might give us a little better look. Oh, shoot, that did not give me what I wanted. Okay, well, I think the main point here, you can see there's usually some pullbacks, and they might not seem that minor in the time, but usually we see kind of a minor pullback before we launch. And I think that's probably what we're setting up for. Unfortunately, you just never know, because sometimes, last run we were cut short, and who knows if that could happen again. The other difference, though, is we have we have so much institutional holding, so much more compared to last cycle. The ETFs were not a thing last cycle; they are this time. There's a lot of vested interest in Wall Street to see this thing go up, because that's good for their clients. But also, there's a lot of vested interest to see things stabilize. So this all could impact the cycle, but the cycle's still there. So my thought is that Bitcoin over time is just not going to, we're not going to see those spikes that we used to have. I just don't think they're going to be as crazy. I don't think it's probably going to drop as much, just because there's going to be more stability, because these companies are holding Bitcoin in their ETFs, and there will be a lot of volume that's just kind of canceling itself out, so to speak, if that makes sense. So I think what we're going to see is Bitcoin's going to continue on the cycle, but the cycles are going to be truncated. They're not going to be, it's not going to crash as hard, and it's not going to pump as hard. So it's going to start stabilizing, which kind of makes sense if you consider the adoption curve we were talking. We can kind of see that. We can kind of see how we had these big spikes, and things are starting to level off a little bit. So you're kind of seeing this curve that's sort of flattening out. I'm sure there's a word for that. I don't, would that be a parabolic the other way? It's not parabolic up, but it's kind of parabolic sideways, where it kind of levels off over time. I'm sure someone who knows stats better than me would know about that curve. So the impact on altcoins is going to be very interesting, because as this flattens, I think it'll probably have people be less excited about the pumps in general. So I think it's still going to follow this halving cycle. I just don't think it's going to be as exciting as it had been. I mean, you can see how it got kind of cut off here in the last cycle. I think this cycle is going to kind of be the same way. But that's just my analysis. And what I would say is at the end of the day, it kind of doesn't matter. And what do I mean by that? Because the strategy is the same. The strategy is you buy during the bear market and you sell off during the bull market. You just might not make the same amount of gains. The gains will be shorter. You know, this whole idea of becoming a crypto millionaire overnight, probably not going to be quite the same. Let's see, Jupiter Eye says it may sound as a cliche, but I really do get excited for a price drop of algo. I'm waiting to drop another 15 to 20% to buy more. Ski Mask says I don't trust Ben or George. Ski Mask says Snake Oil's salesman. I'm a buyer at 25K, not a dollar more. Fair. Sheehan says the SEC drama is the only thing really scaring me. Yeah, that stuff is. Well, I'm glad he's saying most likely now, because he used to be much more You'd always talk with such a degree of certainty about stuff that. Marson says, greetings from Dubai. Marson, welcome from Dubai. I've actually been to Dubai, believe it or not. I was there for the last Decipher. Not going to this Decipher. I only went to the last one because I had someone actually, I had NifGen footed the bill for that. Okay, let's move on to something else. I'm sure this will get some attention, maybe positive or negative, but Martin Shkreli, who has some really interesting. Okay, so just to put the cat out of the bag, I know everyone hates Martin. I actually think he's a really interesting person, but I also I don't know. I just have like an interest in people who are like universally reviled, and I always wonder why. And I find when you like dig into these people, they're usually more interesting than the common media narrative. And Martin's actually one of them. So first off, he has this weird connection to Algorand. He's talked about Algorand a lot, which might surprise a lot of people. The other thing is, I think he's more. I understand. I still don't necessarily agree with. I think there's a balance there. I know there's a lot of people that just want drugs to be free, and like they cost a lot of money to develop, and so you have to charge, at least on the outset, a lot of times you have to charge a huge amount of money just to make up the money that you spent developing a drug. It's a really risky business because you spend a lot of money developing these drugs. So they're very costly, and it's a gamble. Like you could spend all this money and just at the end find out that the drug doesn't work. So that's why. But you know, there's that, and then his other argument is that nobody was kept from the drug. That was basically covered by insurance for most of these people. He's like there hasn't been one person. The drug in question, I can't remember exactly what it was. His argument was that the drug in question, nobody couldn't get the drug because of the price increase. It was all because it all went through insurance or something like that. I don't know that. I mean, I'd be interested to find someone who said otherwise. But that being said, I think there's a balance, and I think you can definitely overdo it. And I think he probably overdid it. The thing he went to jail for is actually a kind of a weird case. He went to jail for. So he had a trading firm, and he had some losses, and so he covered the losses out of his own pocket, which is illegal. It's kind of like Ponzi scheme adjacent. It's not exactly, because he was actually just using his own money, but you can't do that. Like you can't use your own. You're not allowed to do that. So it is illegal, and he did go to jail or prison, I should say. I really hate when people mix those up. I covered courts for a long time, so I know there's a big difference between jail and prison. Jail's usually pretrial, and it's or for sentences that are less than a year. Prison is for everything more than a year. So jail is a short-term thing, and most of the people in jail will be pretrial, so they haven't been convicted yet. All right. Well, I thought this was kind of interesting. I'm not sure I 100% understand it, but so Martin has gotten into like some of these. He's gotten into battles with people on Algorand. For some reason, Algorand was really mad at him for something he said, and I think he was just like, I think they're just mad he talked about Algorand. But he brings it up. I've seen his stream, and he brings up Algorand every once in a while. I think he likes the tech and thinks it's good tech, but he has some kind of interesting takes on crypto sometimes. All right, so Martin says, problems with DeFi, case study, prediction markets. Someone suggested I buy Bitcoin, 1 million binary options. Okay, sure, some random prediction market wants to put up the trade. Great. There's a few problems where centralized clearinghouses currently have an advantage, and as much as I'd like to do it on chain for obvious benefits, there are OOM Bitcoin options at December 320,000 call trades at 1,300. The implied probability this will be in the money at expiry is around 1%. A seller would have to put up 100 times collateral. Clearinghouses can demand counterparties like Citadel or Jane Street to put up capital as the position goes against them. If the position goes against them violently, Citadel and Jane Street have to pay it, and all the parties have a claim against them if they are insolvent. The clearinghouse has some insurance, and there can be socialized losses. DeFi doesn't really allow for this right now. If you assume the IV of a 1 million call is 125%, the price would be 350 for a December 1 million call. Implied odds. This makes even less sense now that I'm reading it out again. The prediction market players would have to put up 3,000 times collateral to pick up the penny in front of the bulldozer. The prediction market lads who don't seem to understand any of the above think that's crazy. Well, to me, it is kind of crazy to guarantee one side has the money to pay the bet, but the other doesn't. These options trade on CME, he says. Ali says the reason why 3AAC, Alameda, and Luna got wiped out. Counterparty risk, BTC was created to get rid of the risk. DeFi and other centralized exchanges just created a system to back it up. Even if options writers get liquidated, there's no fund to bail out exchanges. Yeah, it's all a little over my head, I think. Interesting. Oh, what happened? Hi, MacGyver. Let me just see if I can. That's really weird. Kind of surprised no one said anything that my camera totally went out. Oh, there it is. Okay. Now I just have to put it down. All right. Well, we've got did you guys find that at all interesting? What's going on, MacGyver? Good to see you, buddy. It's still like hunting every once in a while, the focus thing. I don't really know why that is. Yeah, so I thought this next thing was kind of cool. It's a brand new startup lab, and I was gonna make a joke that this was actually the new $4 million studio and that they stole it from me, but I don't think anyone would buy that anyway. So let's just take a look at this this cool new startup. I don't know where all the money is coming from this stuff, by the way. That part's wild to me. All right, here we go. Last month, I was just make sure that's working. Are you kidding me? It went out again? Okay, hold on. I don't know why that's happening. All right, here we are. Hopefully it stays on. It's irritating. Okay. Last month, the Algo Foundation kicked off the first ever Web3 startup lab at TY or the Hub, T Hub Hyde, Innovation Hub and Ecosystem Enabler. Innovate with T Hub. It was the first ever Web3 startup lab. It was such an exciting and expiring moment at this budding relationship between the world's most scalable and sustainable blockchain technology and the world's largest innovation hub. And it's happening in the world's largest democracy. Look at this thing, man. So they had a bunch of people stand there. I'm assuming they're like renting out part of this, so this isn't all theirs. Here's all the people they got doing innovation, waving at the camera, obviously taking this from a drone shot. It's, of course, just one milestone, but a major one in our commitment to support developers building transformative blockchain solutions, move toward product, market, and investment readiness. The 20 startups selected for the Algorand Startup Lab program span across supply chain, healthcare, financial inclusion, agri-tech, sustainability, and Web3 infrastructure. Their founders are pioneering solutions that will help us realize the goal of a more inclusive economy. Say you can tell a lot about a person by the company they keep. We hope that is true. We're keeping some pretty cool company these days. And this was from Algorand, which I think that's Algo, and I think Bharat is the means India. Here's the little India logo. That's a really I'll tell you what, that's a really cool looking building. I thought there was more to this. That would be a really cool building. If someone could make this building, this would be rad. People seem to like it. I thought there was, I thought there was more to it than that. I thought there was more about. It's pretty neat though. Let's take a look at T Hub and see what they have to say. Just seeing what else they have here. What about Algorand? What do they have to say? Yeah, they're really all in on this Python thing. I like that. I think it's a great. I've talked about this a few times. Like I think Python on Algorand is a great move. I don't think it's a panacea. I think people want to think it is, but they're really steering into it, and at least they're pushing it. That's good to see. What else do they share anyway? Algorand's growth. This is from the foundation sharing this. Algorand's growth in India started at the grassroots level. Now it's grown to amazing partnerships with T-Hub for the Algorand Web3 Startup Lab. The builders in this program are developing blockchain solutions across supply chain, healthcare, financial inclusion, agri-tech, sustainability, and Web3 infrastructure. It's kind of just saying the same stuff. just Data says Algo should be $1 already. You guys are failing at marketing. Is it marketing? Is it really marketing though? Do you think? You think that's the problem? I've been trying to think of like what would actually if I could just wave a magic wand and I was the king of Algorand tomorrow, what would I do differently? And I just don't know because I don't know why. Well, I'll show you this. I'll show you why I say this. This is my Twitter. If you want to follow me on Twitter, by the way, BC_Kowalski, or you can just punch in frugalbc.algo. If it's got 2,300 followers, that's me. Just a second. All right, yeah, here. So I said serious question because I see this come up a lot. Has there been real evidence of? Oh, this isn't the one. But one of the things I hear a lot. It's relevant, so I'll read it anyway. I said serious question because I see this come up a lot. Has there been real evidence of influencers being paid to shill Solana? I get a ton of shill requests from crypto-based companies, but I've never gotten a single one from a blockchain. Show me the receipts and I'll make a video. Because I saw this come up. So the loudest, shiniest thing in the room doesn't impress TRS when it's clearly paid shills and bag holders. Trust the tech that works. I'm like, okay, again, but where's the receipts? No one's ever reached out to me and said, hey, we'll pay you to shill Solana. Forget that Algorand stuff. Why don't you here take the big fat check and talk about Solana? I mean, that'd be interesting, right? I'd be curious if that happened. I just don't think they're going to do that, right? But why? So the question is always, well, why? Why are all these people? Because they'll see stuff like Justin Bonds and others talk about Solana, and they do seem to like really gloss over some of the worst aspects of it. But then the question is why? Why do they do it? I think one simple motivation, but this doesn't really get to the issue. Just look up on YouTube, go find one of these YouTuber like keyword searches and look up compare like Algorand and Hedera and Solana and SUI Network and all of those, and look at the volume. The volume is way higher on Solana, but that means more people are excited about Solana. So again, where's the excitement coming from? Was it Sam Bankman-Fried's connection when before FTX was before he was like a poison pill? Because at one time he had some influence, right? Is it that? This is just one of the things I've been trying to get to the bottom of. Like, why are some coins so much popular? What drives them, and how? How does it meet this mass psychosis? I've been talking about like influence. I've been reading a book on influence lately, and it's very interesting. There seems to be a critical mass that forms, and so there's got to be something at the heart of that critical mass sometimes. And I just wonder what that is. What is it for Solana? What is it for like Pepe? There's like tons of these like coins created every day. Why do people get like really, really excited about Pepe? Like, what's the genesis of that? Because the memes like generate. They almost like, gosh, they're almost. It's almost like cells dividing. The more and more divisions, eventually the growth just becomes exponential, and they seem to act like cells. But what starts the initial cell, right? These are the things I wonder. This is what keeps me up at night. Oh, come on again. It's really cool that you guys stay around. I don't know why that is going dead. I've never had this problem before. I don't know if it's with this lens. I just switched the lens. I wonder if I can just do that and it will. Yeah, it's really annoying that all of a sudden just the camera is. I'm impressed that you guys stick around even though my face isn't in it. Oh, it sucks. I can't even use this now. Nope. I gotta turn it off and back on. Let's see if it stays on. The coins are created. My baby 2005 says the coins are created by the cabal to move money around for their agenda. Who's the cabal? Like what cabal? MacGyver says the problem with Algo is it lacks variety. It has too many memes with no steam. Algo needs more top 100 tokens and coins on chain. Only dApps trying are the bridges Messina Wormhole are trying. MacGyver says it's your well-spoken words that keep me here, Frugal. We've got an unbiased outlook, which I enjoy. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, MacGyver. I guess it's not my pretty face bringing people in. I get it. I get it. Yeah, it seems to be stable now, but how long? Do you guys know how long it was out? Because usually when I bring a screen up, I go to the screen, so I don't see it. Well, it's alive now, so. Well, I'm going to try to do the sweet news and see what happens here. Oops. Okay, still alive so far. So far, so good. Yeah, I really like. I've been kind of like paying attention to SUI Network, and I haven't been paying nearly as much attention as I think I should have. They're doing some really cool stuff. SUI is doing some really awesome stuff. Some stuff that I think, frankly, I think Algorand should be doing. I think a lot of these other chains should be looking at. ZK login alone is like a game changer in my opinion because it takes the cryptoness out of using crypto. And there's a lot of other innovations. So what is ZK login? It's like zero knowledge login. In other words, you don't have to like enter your chain number and all this other stuff. It just works in the background and you can just log in like you would other apps, which means like a regular person could use a crypto app without having to go through all the crypto stuff. I think that's really awesome. So I have to check back to make sure. Seems to be stable. One of the first things we have here is SUI Network today. FD Labs HQ announced that they are launching FDUSD, the fastest growing stablecoin in crypto on SUI, making it the first one-to-one backed dollar native stablecoin on the network. SUI will be the first chain FDUSD has expanded to since its inception in August 2023. And my video's still up. That's good. I think there's more about it. Yes. FDUSD has a market cap of 3.3 billion and has seen the fifth highest trading volume across industry, including 8 billion of volume in a single day. That's a lot. That's wild, actually. 8 billion. Their market cap is 3.3 billion, but they've had a day of 8 billion volume. That's crazy. That's a lot of turnover. If you see me taking a pause, I'm just making sure my video is still on. There's a little bit more so we can read this. Let's see. Nope, there it went. What if I just leave it on here? Hong Kong-based first digital $3 billion stablecoin arrives to SUI Network and DeFi push. FDUSD has quickly become the fourth largest stablecoin since its launch last year under Hong Kong's digital asset regulations, benefiting from crypto exchange giant Binance's trading promotion. So we will be the third blockchain for native FDUSD after being available on Ethereum and BNB chain, Binance chain. That's the Binance network. Integration is part of an effort to make the token more embedded into this decentralized finance space. First Digital CEO said in an interview with CoinDesk. So yeah, the rest is the long story, but I think that's a good step for SUI Network to have its own stable coin. Oh, come on. All right, I'm gonna have to give up. I don't know what's going on with the technical issues, but it just keeps popping on and off and on like that. So yeah, I really don't know what's happening with this. It's just weird to have something work perfectly for a long time, and then all of a sudden stop working. So, well, guys, hey, thanks everyone who's stuck on there with me. Sorry, it's going to be a short stream today. Excuse me, but let me just at least I'll try to bring it on for the. I'll try to bring it on for the end at least here. What do you know about XRP connecting to quantum computing, AI, Starlink? Maybe look up Cabal as. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by cabal. I know what a cabal is, but I don't know who you're calling a cabal. All right. Well, because a 10x for. Okay, I'll answer this last question from Capital Ventures. It says, "How do you expect algo to 10x in the next year to $2?" Don't get me wrong, I love it. It just seems unreasonable. If crypto follows its usual pattern, a 10x for an altcoin should be next to nothing. It should be a cakewalk. And $2 would be under its all-time high, which means I would consider that a huge failure for Algorand. If it can't get to $2, that's gonna be really sad for Algorand, because its all-time high is like 240. I know a lot of people say it's like more like 270 or 80 I've seen, but I think those were like really those were like little flash spikes. They didn't last. So the deep state. Oh, you're one of the deep state people. Okay. Again, but again, you can define that. Even deep state, there's so many different ways you can call a deep state. You could be talking about the CIA. There goes the video again. All right. Well, it's not working out today, guys. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the future.